How y'all doing today? All right. I'm Deputy Reinhardt with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. I've been with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office for about 10 years now. 8 of those years have been spent as a canine handler. Love the job. We're here today to give you a little short demonstration on some of the stuff we do and some of the training and hard work that goes into these dogs. I'm not going to be working my dog today, so I get the privilege of speaking to you guys. Right here you have Officer Holcomb with New Smyrna Beach Police Department. That's his canine partner, Buddy. They've been on the New Smyrna Beach Police Department as a canine team together for about 6 years now. What I'm going to ask all you guys to do is make sure you got a tight lead on your dog. For those of you who have dogs, take them behind the bleachers here. We don't want to distract the dogs. We don't want dogs with fights. The same goes for children. If you have any children, make sure they stay seated on the bench. These dogs are very target specific. If something's running, that's what they're going to chase it. So we don't want to have that happen out here. We want their focus to be up in here. To the left of Officer Holcomb, we got Deputy Massey with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. This is his partner, Dax. They've been on the street for what now, Vinny? About 7 years? About 7 years they've been a handler team on the street. Now Deputy Massey is the East Side County dog, so he's going to be covering Daytona Beach, New Smyrna if they need assistance, Ormond Beach, Holly Hill areas. I'm a West Side dog. I cover Glen, the West Side of New Smyrna, Deltona, Orange City, and so on and so forth. Some of the things that we use these dogs for are criminal apprehension for the first and foremost part. If somebody does a felony crime of some sort, maybe they burglarize your car, they burglarize your house, and they take off running. These dogs are trap trained, and they're going to go and apprehend our suspect. They're gonna trap where the suspect was last seen, and they're gonna find him, and they're gonna bite him. Before we get into any of that training, though, we have to have the dog certified for obedience. You always have to show control with your dog. So Officer Holcomb's gonna put his canine partner up. You'll see him in a little bit. Deputy Massey is going to go ahead and show you some of the obedience that we run with the dogs. Right now, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office has 13 full-service dogs. What full service means is that they do two things. They do criminal apprehension, and then they do odor detection. Now, with odor detection, they're either going to do narcotics or they're going to do explosives. Well, like I said, it all starts with obedience. Everything you're going to see we do here today is going to be on lead just for the safety. But everything you do see here today has to be done and certified off lead. So all these dogs will perform the exact same functions off lead. This is part of our healing routine that we have to do. The dog has to stay by Deputy Massey's side, his left side, the entire time and follow all his commands. If Deputy Massey stops, the dog will sit at a heel. If Deputy Massey goes, the dog will go with him. He takes a left turn, right turn, so on and so forth. We have to do fast pace and slow pace. We also have to show that we have distance control with the canines. From a distance of 50 feet, we have to show that the dog will respond to hand signals. Sit, stay, lay down, and come to us. What he's doing right now is actually pretty difficult to train a dog to do, is a sit, stay. Anybody can get their dog to do a sit and stay, but to get them to stand and stay, it's a little more difficult to do. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement requires us to do this in our 408-hour course. We have to go through a 408-hour course before we can work the dogs in the state of Florida. And probably the first month and a half of that is all obedience. Like I said, we have to show total control of our dogs. We did a little bit off lead there for you guys, so you can see.
There you go. Okay.
Sorry, but I have. Yeah, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Gotta go.
That's good. That was Canine Dax and Deputy Massey. So now I assure you that Canine Buddy and Officer Holcomb can do the exact same thing, but they're also FDLE certified. They come out here and do that obedience routine, as I could with my partner Yuri. After we can show proficiency in all that obedience, then we can move on to the apprehension work, which is what everybody seems to be excited about. The reason we teach a dog to apprehend a bad guy is because generally they've committed some type of felonious crime, and a lot of times they may be armed or they're going to fight because they've done something that's so heinous that they're going to do anything they can not to get caught. So we teach the dog to bite and hold the suspects as a form of pain compliance. I.e., if the guy's got a knife or the guy's thinking about fighting me, he's probably not going to want to do it when he's got a 100-pound German Shepherd attached to his leg. That's probably where his attention is going to be. That's where mine would be. I've been dog bit by a lot of these dogs. It happens to all of us. I can tell you, it's not very friendly. It does not feel good. It hurts, and your attention is drawn to wherever they bite you. So that's the reason we use these dogs to bite and apprehend. Most of our dogs, pretty much all of them, are taught to hold in one spot unless the suspect starts fighting. So generally, if there's any type of injuries that are incurred by the suspect, it's a couple of puncture wounds. But like I said, we do use these dogs to track the felonious suspects. Some of these dogs can track up to a mile and a half, depending on the circumstances, the heat, things of that nature. We do use what we call handler discretion, so we choose whether or not we're going to allow the dog to bite the suspect. And we try to give them multiple canine warnings and things of that nature, try and get them out before they get dog bit. But the main point is to get them caught before they've done something that's terrible. After the dogs are trained in full service work, and once they've been on the street and proved themselves a little bit, then we'll send them to odor school. Odor school is a 40-hour course that they have to go through where you can train the dogs in either explosive or narcotics detection. It's a good side job for the dogs. It's a good second thing that they have to do. I'd say narcotics is probably about 50% of our deployments, and the other 50 is probably criminal apprehension. It's pretty easy to spread. Without the odor detection, we wouldn't be using the dog's full potential. While I'm waiting on them, any guys have any questions? Yes, ma'am. Oh, I can't tell you what's in this pouch. It's magical. Now, what I'm wearing is an external vest. A lot of the agencies are going to these because, to be honest with you, a lot of these suspects, they're finding the first avenue of escape, and it generally looks just like that. So you got a 100-pound German Shepherd that's dragging you through the woods. Sometimes we get in mud, sometimes we get in situations where it's too hot and I need to be able to strip this and pull it off if I need to. So I keep a lot of extra tools in here. This is kind of like my mini office. There's a blue pen for signing affidavits. I got some handcuffs, a notepad, extra magazine for my handgun, a pair of gloves for dealing with people if they're bleeding. I'm sorry? Yeah, I wish there was an easy button. Any other questions while we're waiting? Yes, ma'am.
When do you get your dogs? At what age do you get them?
It's a great question. We generally try to get the dogs around 2 years of age because they've matured a little more than, like, when you get them around a year or before a year or a little after a year, you just don't have the consistency in training. Once we get a dog from 2 years of age, we'll work them till about 8 or 9, depending on the health of the dog. A lot of these dogs that you see actually come from overseas. For those of you that don't know, that overseas they do this as a sport. They do dog training as a sport. So their breeding is a little tighter watched and controlled, so we get a better quality dog. What Officer Holcomb's going to show you today with his canine partner buddy is a part of our FDLE apprehension training certification. Stop. No! He's got to be able to recall the dog at a moment's notice just in case the suspect gives up. Now, once again, the dog will do all this off lead, but we're keeping him on lead just because we might have some unresponsible people here who let their dogs loose and we don't want any problems. So that's what we refer to as a recall. Then you have to send the dog for the apprehension. Then we also have to show that we can out the dog after he's apprehended the suspect. Hey guys, stand still! Buddy! Loose! See? Once again, none of this would be possible if we hadn't first trained the dog in obedience. Now sometimes when we encounter suspects in the field, we might have to search them or do things of that nature. So what Officer Holcomb's going to show you is show you a suspect search that would maybe be conducted after the bad guy was apprehended. Dog very intent, very focused, watching his handler, making sure he's safe. Now it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes the suspect will fight, so the dog's trained in what we call handler protection in case the suspect fights. He's going to demonstrate that. See, just like that.
Wow.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Now, generally, most of the agencies will train once a week for about 8 hours with the dog, and there's many other atmospheres and things that we put the dog through. There's exposures and experiences that we train with them. But that is just the basic certification that the state of Florida requires us to do to work the dog on the street. You saw there the control that the dog had. He was able to calm off the suspect to a heel. In reality, that's how it works in the real world too. The dog apprehends the suspect, we can call him back to us. And that's the whole purpose for the training. Also with the handler protection, you saw, I mean, the dog watched, he was focused the first time, he didn't touch the guy. As soon as he saw that the suspect was fighting his handler, he went in and apprehended him. So those are some of the things that we have to do. That's pretty much it. We can answer questions for you guys. Yes, sir.